Hey guys, I'm Brett.
And I'm Brennan.
And this is Brooklyn Shooters, and today we're having a comparison between two cameras. One that just came out, the M262, and I've here got my own personal M240. We're just going to highlight some of the differences between the two cameras and talk about how we feel after kind of using them for a little bit in the field.
How long have you had your M240?
I've had mine pretty early on from when they came out, so I got mine about 6 or 7 months after they initially released it. So I've had it a little over 2 years now. It's been a super dependable and reliable camera for me. I know a lot of people have had some issues with it locking up. I've actually only had it do that to me one time, and quick battery release and then reinsertion actually fixed that problem. But it's been honestly one of my go-to cameras for a long time. It's a 24 megapixel camera. It's from Leica. It's their new CMOS sensor. So, you know, how is that compared to the new 262, Brennan?
Well, it's exactly the same, more or less. That's kind of what it breaks down to. Same sensor, same form factor. The big thing, biggest thing is the weight. Yeah. This is made out of aluminum as opposed to brass, and the difference, immediately when I picked it up, you know, I saw this 262, and when I saw it, I was like, oh look, there's another 240. Let me just pick it up and I'm gonna, you know, mess around with it at work a little bit. No, this was, as soon as I picked it up, I was like, this is not a 240. And then I realized there's no M logo. The paint was a little bit different, and then I realized this was a 262.
They saved that weight with the going from brass to aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum top and bottom plates as opposed to brass on the 240.
And the 240 is also black paint, so it will brass. Mine has already got a few areas on it where it's starting to brass a little bit. The 262 is black chrome.
Yeah.
So it will wear, but it does not wear the same. It sort of shows through in like a more chrome areas on the corners and things like that.
Yeah, it gets like silvery, kind of like what the M8s did. That's an atrocious camera. But yeah, these, you know, they just get silvery. Same thing as the new monochromes, things like that.
Now the other kind of noticeable differences as far as body, aside from holding the camera, is they have they've gotten rid of the kind of clean edge on the M240 and gone with the kind of recessed edge on the end, which is a lot like the old M9.
Yeah.
I've noticed too that the red dot on the camera is actually smaller. It almost looks like the same size as the old film cameras like the M6.
Yep.
It does not have a M logo on the front.
Nope.
So there's no M kind of showing right there. And the only other thing that it's lacking is a port on the back where the camera actually has the live view for like an EVF, and also the microphone holes on the top where, you know, because this can record video and that can't.
Yep. That's also the other big thing about this camera. The M262 was supposed to be a more pared down version of what the M240 is, so it doesn't do video, it doesn't have live view. Effectively, this is what I think should have followed up the M9. I feel like this is a really good M9 successor. It's got a better sensor, which is what most people ask for. Everybody was asking for an M9 that shot better in low light. You know, obviously there's that big, you know, CMOS versus CCD debate, but at the end of the day, I think you can make the same image with both of the cameras.
Yeah, I've always been a CMOS guy myself because I like to have a little bit more wiggle room in post, and I think that gives you a little bit more. But between the sensors in these two cameras, they're identical. You're not going to get any different image between the two of these.
No.
So it comes down to really, you know, what do you need out of a camera? Well, if you don't need video, the M262 is lighter. It does actually have a redesigned shutter, which I think sounds great.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot quieter.
And we can actually demonstrate that here if you want to click yours on.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and fire. This is the M240 shutter.
And this is the M262. So they're a little bit different.
This one has a little bit more of it sounds a little bit more like a DSLR to me.
Like a digitally click.
Yeah, it's like a digital click. This sounds like a film camera to me, which I think is a really welcome addition to how you want to shoot a Leica and what it sounds like. It's much more discreet, much less mechanical sounding. It sounds kind of like just the click of an old film M.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think overall, if I was to buy a camera, you know, I don't need video, I don't need any of that stuff. I'm a big fan of the 262. This is probably One of my favorite cameras Leica's actually released. Like, I feel like this is kind of the camera that everybody was asking for after the M9. Like, I didn't hear a whole lot of people asking for video. Of course, it's great that it has it. It's good on paper. And the footage isn't bad, but if you don't need it, you don't need it.
Right.
And why not save a little money, get something lighter?
Yeah. Also, no live view. I will mention that. I actually have adjusted the horizontal rangefinder in both of my Leicas using live view to calibrate that rather than an infinity point, and I actually found that to be very useful. So if you're very particular with how dialed in your rangefinder is, that is a useful feature on the M240 that I recently used and actually saved me a lot of time, and I know now that I am perfectly calibrated for where I like to shoot, which is usually within like 2 meters. I shoot a lot of people, so that was very helpful, but again, not available on the 262.
But not a deal breaker either. Just a small thing you kind of figure out after, how many years of use? 3 years of use?
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly seldom use my video capabilities on my M. I don't find them to be awful, but I also don't find them to be super useful. The camera's not really set up super well for video. It almost feels as though Leica included it as an afterthought, mainly because some people were asking for it, and if they were going to put a CMOS sensor in the camera and not include video,
why not?
Why not? I also think the other really nice thing about the 262 is the price point. A brand new M240 is $7K or $7,000,
$6,700, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
This is $5,200.
$5,200. So if you really only need a Leica to shoot pictures, it's lighter, shutter is better, it's more affordable. I like the black chrome a lot more than the black paint personally. Especially too, the M240's black paint has always been like a more matte finish, not like the film MPs. So I think it's an added benefit there. The weight is really nice. I will say that I like the weight and I like the shutter quite a bit.
I even think they say it's like 100 grams, which I think when you're thinking about it on paper, it's not something you can really relate to, but as soon as you pick these two cameras up, there's an immediate difference. Even not holding an M240 in your hand, if you've ever held one and then pick up a 262, like, you can feel the difference.
Yeah.
It's noticeably apparent.
I've always said that I like the weight of these cameras. They feel substantial in your hand. They feel like they could hold up against a lot. But again, after holding that, it really does make a difference. It's a lot less weight to kind of carry around on the end of your hand. I mean, it is a nice added benefit. I think they did the right move going to an aluminum body for the camera to save the weight, because I don't really know how much the brass makes a difference in terms of the build of the camera anymore.
No, I definitely don't think so. I also think that they're thinking about, or they're probably not thinking about it, it's probably already in the pipeline of discontinuing the ME.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the continuation of the ME. So I probably wouldn't expect to see the ME too much longer, but to see this kind of take its place as the quote-unquote entry-level Leica camera.
Sure. And also, that's pretty much concludes our comparison between these two cameras. Stay tuned also for Brennan's review of the new Summicron 28, which he also has on here, which there's really not a lot of information on the internet right now about it. We're going to include some sample photos from it, his kind of first impressions of the lens, how we feel like they did when, was it needing to be updated at all? Probably not, but I mean, why not? You got to innovate sometimes. So
guess you have to subscribe and find out.
Yeah, exactly. Subscribe to the channel. Hopefully we'll get some more content up here soon for you. And that's Brennan and Brett signing out.
See you later.
Bye.